Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. I'm Matea. I'll be with you tonight instead of Matias. So, nice to see you all joining us from everywhere. Just waiting a little bit so more people join us.
Now I'm here too. Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Sit here for a moment, just to get into the mood. So, just for you to know, Matea will be here this next week because I'm leaving to Barcelona. So she will take my place in the pyramid, going to the pyramid to anchor my energy and to download the information as I am not here. And of course, that then she will give me that information. She will send in this information, and I will write the post, and then I will do the transmission. Okay, so I will be here. Yes, I'm not leaving you in all the transmissions and everything that we do every day, but I will do it from Barcelona while she will take my place physically. So Matea will be the physical anchor of during this week that I am not here for this project. So this is for all of you to know that she will be here. Do you want to share anything? She doesn't speak much.
Well, so just so you know, it will be me physically, but yeah, like Matias said, he will be with you every evening anyway. So I'm just representing him physically and energetically in the pyramid every day. I will do the same as he does. So I got instructions.
You will get more.
Yeah. And I will do a report so he knows what is going on exactly. So everything will be fine. Yeah. So see you.
Thank you. And of course, I gave her she has the I am, the symbol. So she still has the same energy that I've been working with. I guess that today I feel much better, starting to sail again. So the topic that gathers us today here is the constellation of ARGO NARVIS. And ARGO NARVIS is a constellation that doesn't exist anymore as a constellation. It was used to call like this. So we will see a little bit of this constellation. And also the story of this constellation, which is related to the Argonauts. And I don't know if you know the story or you have heard about the story of the Argonauts, but let's go into that. Regarding the topic of the Argonauts and this trip on the sail, I just want to clarify this so everyone can help all the people. I just wanted to point so you could explain to all the people that were questioning in the comments that, to clarify, Matea will be in the pyramid doing my energetical work, but I will be doing the posts and these transmissions daily at the same time as always. Okay, and the reason why I'm leaving is because many years ago I promised to a friend that whenever she was about to give birth, I would be there. So that's why I said I have to go. So I think this is the best way to work the going out of the box of Aquarius. So that's it. Because there were many misunderstandings. This is what we have been speaking about these days. Yes, is something that we were speaking about, which is to get out of the box, to think out of the box. This is also related to what we are going to talk about today. To understand the concept for today, we have to get back to the story of the heroes, because the explanation of the heroes is something that is really born in Greece, again, as always. So is the concept of someone is a hero that makes this story that is amazing. But the heroes were not exactly born in Greece as a concept. They were born in other civilizations, like in Egypt, like in Middle East, with Ahura Mazda, with Horus, and all these concepts. But they were gods. These people were gods, and they were beautiful examples. Beautiful examples of the divine. So they were perfect. They would do all perfect in the cosmos, and they were considered gods. But the Greek people brought a new idea of these stories, which was that these heroes are not gods or divines in the sky, but they are normal people, that some of them came from the gods, but they live normal lives, and suddenly they just want to go to reach something, and they start this adventure. And in this adventure, they have so many problems, but they also have the normal problems of any human, like partners problems. I don't know the words in English for this. When someone cheats another one, sexual, the basic needs. Maybe they live these incredible stories, and then they end up the lives like in shit, in the middle of the crap. So these stories of the heroes are the stories of normal people that live really amazing things, like really wow things, So this was like kind of an example for the people in Greece, that anyone could live these kind of stories, and that anyone could just experience this kind of things. And also what they were trying to say is that even the gods or semi-gods or any people can also live like a human and has the same problems. Okay, so that creates the idea of the hero history, that for sure it's at school you have heard about it, because it's something that we used to study in literature, when we studied the path of the hero, and how is this person that comes out from one village and then makes this trip around their world or country or whatever, and they do these things, and they face many problems and monsters and stuff, and they solve it, they get their purpose, and they went back home, they arrived back home as heroes, transforms into hero. But this hero also ends up like living a horrible life, and things like that. That's what we usually have heard as a Greek tragedy. For sure you have heard that term, because the Greek people wanted for the divine people to live their own problems. Let's go into this concept of why the Greek people were like a tragedy. Because the European way of thinking was to describe everything as it was in the life. So if you see the history of Europe, they usually started to describe life as it was since you were born until you were about to die. So the Greek people, the Latin people used to describe life as it was. And in the Middle Ages, the Romantics, remember we have spoken about this, the Romantics, what they did was trying to describe the life of Rome, not to make romance like two people in love and they had a beautiful life and they lived happily ever after. That was not Romanticism. Romanticism comes from the concept of the romance, that is the tradition of people that were living in Rome, in the empire of Rome. So they were describing the life in Rome, like the fields, the people working, people living, the farmers, and how beautiful it was to live the normal life. So they were describing basically the life of Rome. That's why they were the Romantics. So in Europe, basically the tradition was to explain the things as they were, try to follow the beauty of life until the death. And that's why all the stories that we have been told from Europe, they usually had a very bad ending. Why? Because the end of everything is death. So you have to describe death to end the story. You cannot end the story in the and they were happy, because then problems come and then you die. So what they were doing was to describe exactly what was happening in life, describing how it was, how the sensations were, and so on. So from the Greeks, the Romans, then the Romantics in the Middle Ages, and then comes again the Renaissance, which is to rebirth and bring back the same stories of Greece and Rome. So they bring back all that information. And that's why the stories that we have heard from Europe, they are like tragedies, okay? Because they say everything that happened until Walt Disney was born. Now, we had this conflict in Europe, which is normal life, basically. And suddenly, when this moment of the Renaissance begins, discovering of the Americas. So they go to America, and America started to symbolize like the freedom for all those who were very different in Europe. So the people that were like the Puritans, for example, that they were the Quakers, that all these people that were living in like a dream of heaven, and they wanted to start again, and they were persecuted by the Anglicans in Europe. They were persecuted by other people because they were thinking that we have to leave the realms of God and so on. So everything has to be pure. They all went to the Americas. Nobody wanted to live in America, so everyone from Europe that was not accepted in Europe, they went to live in the Americas. So that's why these kind of groups that were the Puritans, for example, they started to create this consciousness in the Americas that we had to make a new beginning, that we have to live the dreams of the divine, and we have to be pure, okay, these kind of things. After many years, this started to create a tradition in the Americas that we have to be pure, and then we have to live that dream of the divine. So it creates the culture of living the American dream. The American dream is something that everyone that was suffering in Europe could find in the Americas. So everything is possible. No suffering in this territory. Everything can be perfect. So this was taken as a culture of this new time, and they brought this concept from Europe, like all the dark stories from the European tales, like the Grimm brothers and so on, and they started to cut the bad endings and to create these good endings, so we could all live in that beautiful dream, and they lived happily ever after. So that's the kind of concept that they had of life. And that's kind of the basis of the American dream. That's why even today in the States it's difficult to see a boobs in or nude people in television. It's like so weird. It's freedom, but not much. Like, you know. So what they did basically was to take all the concepts of the hero from Europe, all the stories of the hero, and they made those heroes into these beautiful stories that never ended in a bad way, that always the good wins over the bad ones. Okay, and nobody is suffering at the end, and that's it. So good ending in everything. So when they became like when the states became like the system that globalized their philosophy in the whole world, this is kind of the idea of the world that we started to dream. Okay, so what happened later about this? Suddenly, in the States, this Puritan concept of bringing something new comes up in California. And these people that start to think about this beautiful dream, American dream of living all together in peace as one and so on, they created the movement of the hippie, okay, the hippies in California. So in San Francisco, it started this movement of peace and love because California is the one that spreads all this information. So the world has been receiving information from the hippies in this time in the Americas. And what happened? That they created the concept of the New Age. And the concept of the New Age is something that tells that we are all gonna live in an age, utopic age of beauty, of love, all together, living together, and like a dream. So we all gonna live happily ever after. Have you heard this? And that's why spirituality turns out to be much more like a hippie thing. And they started to create this new, the New Age idea that went all around the planet. And now it's something that when we speak about spirituality, we usually speak about that movement of the New Age. And suddenly, people say that we are the New Age and that I am working for the New Age. And no, sorry, I'm not. So this was a movement based on the utopia of the hippie time in the States. Basically, this is not bad, but it's an illusion. So the question here would be how to make the difference in between a real illusion or a false illusion. And why is that? Because everything is an illusion. This is an illusion. The physical thing is an illusion. Myself is an illusion. What I'm explaining is an illusion. What you hear is an illusion. What other beliefs is an illusion. Everything is an illusion. So the question is whether I decide to leave that illusion projected outside, or whether I decide to follow the illusion that I project from within. What I'm saying with this thing of the illusions is not that we should not believe, or that I am judging what happened with the hippies or the New Age or whoever. I'm not judging that. I'm trying to be because actually it was really good. What I'm just trying to say is that we have to know that everything is an illusion, that what I have here now is an illusion of what happened before. So what is going to happen after is an illusion that I have now. So everything basically is kind of an illusion. So if we understand where this process comes from, we can understand how to set free the others, the next ones, from my own illusion. Even if I am not against that illusion, even if I want to leave that illusion, but acknowledging that everything has a consequence, so I can set the others free from my own illusion. So basically, this line, this story is, that's why it's important to see that what we are living now, like, oh, this is my reality, we have come here to change the world and whatever, is just a projection of the previous illusion. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So we get detached from the illusions, and we can help the others to detach from our illusions. So all this is to let us understand that in Europe, we had this tradition for so long regarding the heroes, that they were normal people, that they were living through a story that never ended in the good part, that they had to finish the story, to go back home, to make the process, to understand what they did, and then die. So the people was trying to understand why they had to leave all that. They were facing their own shit constantly. And then in the Americas came this idea of the dream. So the hero becomes the one that saves everything and becomes like the one that lives better on the top, you know, like, this is the best moment of my life, and that's it, that's the end. So that's why today we are still living in this concept of the Puritanism of the states, that we are here waiting for a hero that saves us and that helps us to transcend, and that we all are going to be saved and we will live happily ever after. But this idea is born in this concept of North America. And this is also similar to what happened in the Middle East and Africa, when the gods were the heroes, when the gods were the saviors. So they were living the stories, and then because of them, we get saved. So this is kind of what we are living today, this dream that they were also living in the Middle East. And this story is the one that takes us away from the idea that we have to go through a process in order to end, that we need to find the axis in the story, otherwise everything falls apart. So according to the European vision, we are the ones that are the real heroes, the normal people, the people that recognize themselves as the hero of their own story, that we are the ones living all these conflicts that we have to solve, that we are the ones that we need to transcend our own history. We are the saviors of ourselves. We have to sail ourselves. And this is the story of the Argonauts, which means the ARGO NARVIS, the constellation of the boat that sails fast. That's the meaning. So this is the story of the Argonauts. And the Argonauts, well, the story, I wrote it in the post, so I invite you to read it. But basically, it's these people that went to look for something in another country, and the guy that put all the crew together, he wanted to get that in order to get the throne, and basically he was just using everybody to accomplish its own mission, its own will, basically. So he raped women, he left friends in the way, he used the daughter of a king for his own benefits, betraying everyone and doing so many bad things. And then when he came back, like saying, I am the hero, everything was wrong. And then he ended up his life alone and sad and died like this. So, and he was the hero of the story. That's a Greek tragedy, of course. He did so many things, and sadly, that's the end. Why? Because in these traditions, they are saying you are the responsible of your own decisions. Even if you are the hero can end really bad if he or she doesn't take, is not aware of its own decisions. So the responsible and the coherence of your decisions is the most important thing. It doesn't matter if you accomplish every one of your goals. What matters is how and from where you do it. So now, for example, we can say the concept of the hero. When the hero does everything in order to be recognized, is not the hero, really. That is the wrong way of being a hero, basically. Because to be a hero is to do the path that you have to take to make the whole process. But we have this concept that the hero is someone that will do something good for others, like in service. Oh, he's a hero because he's saving people in another country or whatever. And that's not a hero, because the story of the hero is not that. The story of the hero is the growth, the inner growth that you do in order to accomplish every step. If you are doing this just to save others because you want to be in service for others, this is just for the ego, which is so weird, but actually is for the ego in order to be recognized. It's not just to do it. So this is a misunderstanding that we have of the hero. The hero is not someone that accomplishes things to serve the others. The hero is the one that dares to make the path, to take its own way, to discover the ways and share it or do something with that. So the hero is not the one that accomplished stuff. The hero is the one that found a method by his own or her own to accomplish stuff. And in order to become that hero, you have to face the monsters. That's the Greek tragedy. You have to face the monsters that you have within in order to find what you are looking for behind. You have to live your own tragedy. Face your own tragedy. So just the other day, I've read a message in a video. I don't know where exactly and who did it, but there was a comment that I was meditating on it, because the comment was like, I don't know what I share, something silly probably, about oh, this is a tragedy or whatever. It was a joke for sure. But this person said, this is not a tragedy, Matias. This is a tragedy is someone that is living in hunger or in the middle of the war. That's your thing is nothing, you know. And I was meditating on that because I said, yes, that's true. I cannot say that that's a tragedy because I live very well. I cannot complain about anything because I really live very well. And I decided to live very well. So it's my choice. And but suddenly I just thought, but it doesn't mean that I cannot complain on my own tragedy, because my own tragedy is different from other tragedies. So if we start to compare the tragedies, we will never evolve, because the tragedy, even if it is very subtle and the other ones is very heavy, we cannot relate to our own path of the hero if we don't recognize our own tragedy. For example, me being depressed can be really useful for some people to understand how to get out of the depression. And of course that I don't need to live in hunger to know that that also is a tragedy. But we have different kind of tragedies, and that's the thing that helps us to evolve. So the only way you can live your own path of the hero is if you accept your tragedy as the key for your own evolution, not being afraid of your own tragedy. And now let's see how this started. So remember that for the ancient ones, they were not used to go to the sea because they were afraid of the sea, because nobody knew what was behind the sea. So it was like an open space that no one knew how to control, until someone said, I will make a boat and I will jump into the sea and I will cross it. So when that person did it, discovered new things and brought new things to the village, and he became, or she became, a hero, because now that person brought many new things for their own people, mostly experience. So remember that this creates the concept of the self-government, because when you sail, you are free. This means that you are able to go with the gods. Remember that the word govern in Greek means to sail, to sail on a boat. So this means to be able to govern yourself is that you are able to sail into the ocean, that you are able to guide yourself. This is why the concept of the hero is born from the idea of someone that goes out from a port, going to a different land through the sea. So in order to understand the concept, the psychological concept of the boat, we have to understand the parts of the boat. So ARGO NARVIS, it was such a huge constellation that they had to divide the constellation in different others. So that's why you for sure don't hear about this constellation, but sometimes maybe you have heard about the constellations of the parts of the boat, which is Pupis, Carina, Pyxis, and Vela. I don't know the parts of the boat in English, so I will just make the drawing. Entonces tenemos kind of a boat, okay? This here is Carina. This is the spine of the boat. the axis of the boat. This is the veil. This part here. This is puppies. So here we have the compass that is called Pyxis. So remember that this is a southern constellation. So you don't see really well this constellation from the north. So to understand this psychological concept, the ship is oneself, and the oneself sail in the waves of emotion. And it is pushed by the winds of the mind. So the wind is the word. What I say manifests the strength, this tension, the intention towards I am moving to. The waves represent the stability of my emotions. So if the carina, the axis of the boat, is not well treated, is not aligned, it can break the boat. It can sink the boat. So the puppies, the back part of this, where you have the wheel, I don't know how you call it, for the boats. So in this region here of the boat, we have the part that determines the direction of the boat. So it's on the back. So it's my past. My past is the one that determines the direction I take. So the captain of the boat is my ego, and the compass is my heart. This analogy means that if I learn how to sail my emotions, take benefit of my words and my mind, so I know how to use the veil to move, to take benefit of these ideas. If I follow the strength of my past and recognize that the captain is the ego and the compass is my heart, I can follow my heart to reach the destiny. And that's the hero. Nobody that comes from outside. Nobody arrived really far without the wind, without currents. Nobody arrived really far throwing the captain on the board. Okay? So don't be afraid of living your own Greek tragedy and become yourself a hero and a heroine. Let's go to the information for today. The vibration for today is Lu. The statement for today is, I am the word that guides. The code for today is cold air. On the contrary, because yesterday was hot air, in its opposition, the cold air is found. The second aspect of air's trinity, that by levitating the atmosphere gains weight by cooling, for it arrives to its limits and descends swooping towards the ground. The same and starts to feel in the emotional plane of the soul, where transits the realities, surrounding them and becoming them to feel them. Everybody's ready for the alignment? Today, the word is I am the word that guides. And the topic today is the hero, the one that guides himself or herself. So, as you have heard, the alignment today is for the hero and the word of the word that guides. So, I cannot guide you. We have been proving these days, testing ourselves these days with broken structures to not know what to do. But now you have the experience of 2 days that you don't know what to do. So today we will do it very, very straight to the point to ourselves. We will guide ourselves. So very aware. So what I invite you to do is to take the music, listen to the music, and to do that trip by yourself. Remember the water, the wind, the boat, the captain, and design your own path towards the other side. Okay? I cannot guide this. It's your own hero. So have a nice trip. Thank you, everybody, for being there as always, and see you tomorrow at the same time.